Aloha, everybody. We're back with day 2 of Bridge to Heaven. And today we're going to be helping you learn a bit and practice clairaudience. And you want to stay to the end because we are going to do an attunement, which basically helps you kind of align your energy, your consciousness to the ability to hear psychically. That's what clairaudience means. Clair stands for clear, audience hearing, so it's clear hearing. So, but before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about our backstory, just so you know why I'm here then teaching you, because some people are watching this and going, who the heck is this person? You know, what is she talking about? Her husband is on the other side and he's working with her. So Alan was/is a psychic medium, natural born medium, grew up in the UK, excuse me, during World War II. So he could feel spirit and sense them around him. And even as an adult, same thing. So he, you would say, was inclined to work with the spirit world. Me, a little, not so much, because I grew up in a very normal background with a middle-class family in Hawaii. So I don't know what's wrong with my voice here. My apologies. So with that said, you know, after he passed, after 30 years of marriage and him suffering from dementia, he stunned me by coming back and he began communicating with me. And I wasn't prepared for that. I don't think anybody's prepared for that. They're like, what's going on? You know, like, what is this? And you would think that I would be prepared for that. But I was shocked because the idea had never occurred to me that we could communicate after death ongoing, okay, not just through a medium, not just through somebody communicating as a translator. And this is why I want to emphasize to you that you are the best medium for your loved ones in the spirit world. And it's so sweet. I see Jackie there saying, sending you healing energy, Pam, because my voice is cracking. It just means I haven't drunk enough water. That's all it means. So let's really talk about that. Like, what's going on? Like, why is this phenomenon happening to not just me, but to many people? I really thought that our story was an anomaly, you know, that, okay, maybe because Alan's a medium, you know, maybe that's why he can come through. That's why he could talk to me. That's why he could do all the things that he could do. But I found out that no, there were others doing that. There's still many others. And I met them when they started coming to our Facebook group, Soulmates in the Afterlife, and they started saying, oh yeah, this is happening to me, or I thought I was crazy, or I thought I was the only one. And then I read your book or I heard your story and I knew I wasn't the only one. Okay, so there's something going on here. Clearly, it's not about you being a professional psychic channel like I've been for 37 years now, and Alan being a medium. Your partner doesn't have the other side, doesn't have to be a medium. In fact, what I've been shocked to find is that there's some spirits from the other side who are so strong. Oh my God, they can do things that would blow your mind. And Alan says that's because many of them are just, you know, have been spiritually, let's say, studying and growing in lifetimes that they lived when they're in a body and on the other side in other dimensions. So every spirit is different, you know, and a spirit is basically the expression of that soul that is embodying in a particular lifetime. So that my spirit right now is this, you know, Pam Johnson. This is my spirit, but this is not only my soul. This is just part of me. Okay, so whoever you are, that's your spirit and that's part of you, but that's not the all of you. Your soul is the total you. So clearly, communication is happening without people even looking for it, without them expecting it. And even if it's not happening to you, what I've observed is you can develop that. Okay, I can't promise you how that's going to unfold because it's up to you and your loved one on the other side, right? They have to learn how to reach through the veil. But that said, if you're motivated, that's going to motivate them. And we're going to talk more about that, a little bit more about that tomorrow about, well, how do I know that they want to continue with me? Like, is there a way to know? And I believe there is, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Today, we're talking about clairaudience. And without exception, everyone is clairaudient. Okay. Your physical hearing is part of clairaudience, although it's not obviously it by itself. It's not, your psychic hearing by itself, what you hear on a normal day-to-day basis, but it's connected. So because you already hear, you are clairaudient. It's just that you may not recognize when the clairaudience is happening. So an example of this, especially if you have someone on the other side who's trying to give you signs, trying to make contact. One of the ways they can do that is to put a song in your head. Like the song just keeps looping, like the lyrics, or really maybe you could even kind of hear the song, right? Like, why am I humming this song like all day long? What's going on? That is them projecting that song. So I would suggest you look up the lyrics. Usually there's something in the lyrics that's a message. It may not be always the lyrics verbatim, but usually there's something in that that is a message from them to you. But even more than that, the song, because songs are emotion, pure emotion, they're sending that emotion to you. So when you hear the song in your head, or you hear it, you're listening to it on your iPhone or whatever your music device is, and you feel this energy come in, you feel tingles or you feel some positive emotion, I suggest you stop because they are trying to connect with you. One of the ways that Alan really comes in strong for me, and this is me, everyone's different, maybe the same for you, it might not be, is when I play the songs that he gave me that are on our playlist. And I'll feel this upswell of emotion, like all this love, and I know that that's him. It just really like lifts me up. And for him and I, this is one of the easiest ways for us to connect. And it may be for you too, or it may not be, or it may be something that you can develop. But music, because it's pure emotion, it bypasses your logical mind and it goes right to your heart, goes right to your feeling center, your heart center. Okay, so if you haven't already done so, I really encourage you to look to music to help you connect, to at least experiment with that. Okay, that would be one of my number one tips, because on the other side, they are high-level empaths. They feel emotion more deeply than we do. I know that's hard to believe. That's what Alan told my friend Swati, who can see him and clairvoyantly because she's completely clairvoyant. She can see spirits. She can talk to him. And she said when he told her that on the higher realms that they're very, very emotional, she laughed and she said, "I don't believe you're saying that. That's what Archangel Michael told me," because she has a strong connection with Archangel Michael. But at the time that he told her, she just laughed it off because she thought he was kidding, because she jokes around with spirit all the time, especially Michael. And so when Michael said, "Oh yeah, we're very emotional, in the higher realms," she just thought he was joking around and she didn't believe him. So when Alan told her that, she said, "Oh my God, I guess that's true. I guess they really are highly empathic." So do not ever think that your loved ones on the other side do not feel emotion. The key is they don't get stuck in heavy emotion because they're in a realm that's timeless and there is only love. So they might feel a moment of sadness like they can do when they see us struggle, but they are reminded because they're in a field of love that, well, love is the only reality and really nothing can truly go wrong with anyone, including my loved one. I'm just changing my camera there a minute. So they're not really worried about us. That doesn't mean they're not concerned. That doesn't mean they don't want to help. That doesn't mean they don't fret a little bit. But I don't want you to think that they're detached and uncaring and living in this state of just, just pure, he's saying to me, dissociation from human struggle. That's not the case at all. Okay. They just see the bigger picture because they know that this life is such a brief moment, a speck in eternity, that they know that we're going to be okay. No matter what happens, no matter what it seems like, we're going to be okay. So they therefore are not going to go into deep panic or concern. Also, they know that that's not going to be really helpful because, especially if it's a partner, and in some cases also family member or other loved one, but especially if it's a partner, they're more merged with us because of the relationship, and they more you we can feel what they're feeling. So can you imagine how you and I would feel if we could pick up on their worry? Like if they were really in a panic, they know that that's not going to be productive. They know that that's not going to help us. They know that that's only going to make things worse because we're going to assume that what we're feeling is ours. Because why wouldn't we, right? We'd go, oh my God, there really is something to be freaked out about. So they know that that's not going to help. But it doesn't mean that they don't care. It doesn't mean that they don't shed a tear and go, oh, I wish I could do something physical, right? Quite often they do, wish that they could be in a body, come through and do something directly, but they can't. So they are holding to the knowing that the best they can do is broadcast their love, their strength, affirm in their mind that you're going to make it. You're good. You're going to be fine. And they know that that's the only signal that's going to really help. Okay. So when it comes to hearing them, again, I want you to pay attention. If you get like a song running into your head, right? Like, oh, why do I hear this song? Or why do these lyrics come back over and over? Even though you're not hearing something externally, because clairaudience isn't necessarily external, we're going to go right into that in a minute. That is clairaudience. If something is kind of playing in your head, especially if it's a song, like where did that come from? But before we go any further, I want to remind all of you, it's like kind of like I want to remind you of this like every time we meet. Well, maybe not every time, but certainly this time. I want to remind you that you are the best medium when it comes to your loved ones in the spirit. And I mean that, I mean that, I mean that. And they mean that too. They sometimes don't want to come through a medium. If they don't want to come through a medium, or if you go to mediums and the medium just can't pick up on them, it could mean that your loved one is saying, hey, you can do this. I don't want to come through this person. Why go to somebody else if they can go to you direct? And the reason they can go to you direct is because of the bonds of love that you share that are eternal and that connects you. Okay. And what did we talk about the other day about, what is going to be your main obstacle, right? What's going to be your main obstacle in any of this? It's going to be your blocks, your fears, your doubts, your disbelief. You're having set expectations of how this should be, how you should hear them, maybe in this case, since we're talking about clairaudience. So that's the only thing that's standing in your way. I promise you this. If you just get this and you deal with this, you deal with your fears, you deal with your doubt and disbelief, and you let go of your expectations, there is nothing in your way, people, because you are a soul and your soul is profoundly psychic. You were born that way. That is your true being. And when you return to the other side, you merge with that again. And of course, you become the eternal soul that you are, and you do gain all that. But you came here and you forgot that for a reason. This wasn't done to you to, accidentally. Everyone is blank slated of this because you wanted to experience life in a new way. And if you came here knowing that you're this eternal being and they had no fear about the other side, you have no doubt, disbelief, you wouldn't have a new experience. So you had to come in with some restrictions and limitations put on you. But now is the time to wake up, reclaim your true knowing of who you are so that you can live the best life you could ever have lived ever. Okay. Between heaven and earth. Even our loved ones in the spirit world cannot do what you and I potentially can do. And I don't think many of you fully grasp that. Meaning that they do not have a body, obviously. Many, maybe he says, maybe all spirit souls on the other side would like to have a body and be here right now for the ascension, for what is unfolding on the planet, as crazy as it might seem right now, as chaotic as it is. This is the most exciting time to be alive. It's also the most stressful. I grant you that. And that's why we're here to help you. Okay, because the planet is going through something it has never gone through before, ever. And if you're here, you're needed as for the ascension. You're needed to help shift humanity by working on yourself. You don't go out there and fix everybody else. It's not about that, unless you're guided to do something like that. For most of us, it's to deal with ourselves, to work on your own fears, your own doubts and disbeliefs, right? All these things. And if you feel guided to connect with someone in the spirit world, then clearly this means that you're here to discover who you really are with their help. Okay. So I want you to just remember that, that what's standing in your way is that, but that all of that you can change. All of that you can change, and you came here to change that. Okay. So just let's just, calm down about this whole idea that psychic awareness is a gift and only it's special and you have to be a medium. No, 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 no. We're all mediums. If you're a soul, you're a medium. Being a medium for a stranger is a different thing. Okay, because why? Because the spirit on the other side may not want to talk to you, like we just said. It's a different thing. It requires different, but I don't want to say skills. It requires a lot more discernment because again, the other side doesn't always want to come through to the medium, and the medium gets challenged to deliver results. And some of them may actually be reading the spirit, not talking to them. And I've heard many mediums admit that that is something that is possible. The authentic ones will never do that, but many others will do that. And what I mean by that is you can psychically read a person, right? Like, because they're not dead. So if the psychic now could read your best friend and tell you, could tell you even tell you their age or what they're like or what they do for a living and all the details, okay, which is possible. They can do that for your loved one on the other side. But that doesn't mean that they're talking to your loved one and the message they're passing through to you from their loved one is really what they're saying. That's what they don't tell you. And I'm not saying that all mediums do that. Like I said, the genuine ones never do that, but it can be done. And that's what always concerned Alan because he knew that. He knew that he could read the person on the other side. He could read them and reel off all the details, including how they died, what everything. He says, remember, all the information about anybody is there. It exists. It's accessible. That's not the same thing as spirit to spirit communication, as direct communication. It's not at all. It's just reading their field, reading their thoughts, reading their history, everything. Everything about you and me is out there. You could say it's in the Akashic records. That's true too. All of it can be read. So if that's the case, if all the information can be read independent of talking to somebody, don't you think it would be better for you and I to communicate with our loved ones ourselves so we know that's them? Because this developing our ability will also evolve us spiritually, and we're going to change in a beneficial way, in a profound way. But most of all, we're going to get the confirmation because they will give it to us. And yeah, we're going to have to learn to discern that. We're going to have to learn, am I really hearing Alan? Is that really him talking to me? I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, so hang in there. You have to learn all that, but it's doable. And you can trust your experience more than some medium that you find that you don't know, really won't know if they're really talking to your loved one. I have even heard of a world famous medium telling someone that their loved one wanted them to move on when that wasn't the truth at all. And this person knew it because she herself is a medium. And she's having contact with her husband. And this person was basically just reciting what Alan calls the standard mediumship training, line that, oh, they want you to move on and they're going to bring you somebody new. If you hear that said, that's not necessarily true. And I really take issue with the idea that your loved one on the other side, if it's a partner, would tell you they're going to bring you somebody new when you've just lost them. Alan said, he's saying to me, they would never say that to you unless they knew that's really what you want, because they know that hearing that is going to devastate you, maybe even make you question whether you want to keep, living, because now you lost them physically and now you hear that they don't want you anymore and they're going to bring you somebody else. He says, why would we ever tell our partner that? We can read your thoughts. We know how you're feeling. Never ever doubt that. Okay, they know how we're feeling. They're high level empaths. Didn't I just say that? So they know we're grieving. You really want to hear that your husband is going to bring you, or your wife is going to bring you a new partner? I don't think so. Unless you weren't really in love with them and you're ready to, start speed dating again. But otherwise, why would they say so? I would throw away that kind of remark from the medium, and I would learn how to connect directly, because if that was really for your highest good to continue without them, because it might be, everybody's different, everybody's journey is different. They don't have to tell you that and hurt you further. They would just work to make that happen behind the scenes. They do that. I know they do that. I've witnessed that with clients. They do that. They don't have to tell you. They would just bring that person into your life, and then you might go to a medium or a psychic and say, I met this person. I'm in love with them and I don't know what to do. I still love my partner who crossed over. And the medium might say, well, he brought him to you, and then that's different. It's totally different, isn't it? Alice says that is what they would do if that is part of your soul's plan. But instead, mediums are spewing out the same bogus thing they're taught. He said if any of them really experienced love after death, like some of us have, they would know that this is ridiculous. There's no one size fits all. There's no reason for a loved one on the other side to say to somebody, he's bringing you a new partner, or this would be terrible too, telling a mother who lost her child, "Oh, well, don't be sad because you're gonna have another baby." Like, that's not gonna make her happy. See, is there any difference to that? It's just as insensitive, isn't it? Guys, does that make any sense? No. So you have to be wary of mediums, and I'm not bashing mediums. I get accused of that all the time. Some of my best friends are incredible mediums, but they know the truth about the afterlife. And there's too many mediums being pumped out like every day, taking workshops and saying, took a 3-day workshop or a 5-month training. I don't care if they studied for years because the professional medium who's been working in this field for decades is saying the same bogus crap. Okay, so you got to protect your heart. You are living in the time of the ascension. So if you feel guided to learn to connect with your loved one, parent, child, whoever on the other side, you take ownership of this. You can do it. You can do it. This is not complicated or hard. It just takes persistence, takes dedication, and stay with us. We'll do everything in our power to help you. Okay, so, and that's very kind. Pat just saying, I would only trust a reading from you, Pam and Alan, or Josh, Josh, our friend Josh Lewis. Hats off to Josh. And yeah, only a handful of people. Like, but really hone your own connection. And you don't really need a medium after a certain point. Maybe some of you do. I get it. But I work with people who've never seen a medium, or maybe they do later after they learn themselves, right? And now they know, okay, I know what to look for. And then they know if the medium tells them something bogus, like, oh, they want you to move on, they'll go, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, but if you don't know any better, you could be in for a world of hurt if you don't understand that, well, they're not really talking to my loved one. Maybe they're reading my loved one and getting all the information that way, including how they died, specifics, including middle name, including all the details. Okay? You will never know. You have to trust that the medium is being honest with you. And the pressure to deliver the goods to you is really high thanks to Netflix, Amazon Prime, with all these shows on mediums. I know for a fact that I won't say who, there is a medium that they do cheat. They do get information given to them. And again, not all of them are fake, so I'm not bashing all of them. I'm just saying, be careful out there because I don't want you devastated. I don't want your hopes crushed because I know how that feels. And it could ruin your life. It could derail your efforts to connect because now you're starting to doubt, right? Starting to doubt that you thought you heard them. Now you're doubting it. Now you're afraid, like, oh, maybe I am making this up. I don't know who is this that I'm talking. And now you're just back where you started. So that was a bit of a rant, and I apologize, but Alan said to me, there's some people need to hear this and you're going to save their heart and maybe their life because they're about to walk into some reading that's going to decimate them emotionally. I see it happening so often. That's why it gets me so upset. Nobody who does this work should ever hurt anybody else. Sure, we might not get everything right and not get the details right, but a genuine medium would tell you, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing your loved one. They're not going to read your loved one. They're not going to give you the information because they can. They're not going to tell you some rote, belief that, they're going to bring you somebody new and you should be happy. So we're just here to educate people. So, Clairaudience, let's dive into it. Hold on a minute here. First, we want to talk about going back to, the afterlife. And I want you to understand that all souls have a life review. This is pertinent because I need you to understand that they do see the bigger picture of their life. and their life with you, right? Their interaction with you, whatever your relationship was with each other. They do see when they cross over, what was their soul plan in relation to not only their life, but how it related to you, how the interaction with you, whether you're a partner, parent, child, another family member, friend, what have you. They experience everything that those around them experienced related to them. In other words, they're going to experience how they treated you. And they may be completely shocked because in their mind, they thought they had been, like Alan thought, he thought he'd been a good husband. And then he had his life review and he went, oh crap. I was a shitty husband. That was his words. They told my friend Swati. He goes, I don't know if she's gonna want to be with me, through the veil because I was such a shitty husband. And I never thought I'd hear him admit that, but she told me that. She goes, "Yeah, he knows that he wasn't the best husband to you." So, they know that because they see through our eyes and feel what we feel, right? And go, "Oh god, she was devastated by that. I really hurt her. Oh my goodness." And not only us, but others, right? Others that were in their life. So they see that not to punish themselves or as a form of, recrimination or anything. It's more to assess how did they do in this life. It's more for them evaluating whether they achieved their soul's plan. Maybe they missed the mark. Maybe they went above and beyond, whatever. There's no judgment. They're not criticized. It's just really just to get a sense of how they did. Okay. And in some cases, clearly, some of them feel like they really missed the target, like, completely. And that's okay. They will just then find a way to learn another way, take another stab at it, incarnate again, go to another reality, another dimension, okay? Now, they generally, if there's a lot of remorse because they feel like they hurt us, they they wanna make amends. They would like us to forgive them, not not so much for their sake, really, but for our sake, because they understand that us harboring resentment toward them is going to lower our vibration, and it's certainly gonna impact our ability to communicate with them through the veil. If we hurt them, they because they see the bigger picture, they have moved beyond that. They have long forgiven us by and large. I only say by and large because there can always be extreme cases where the spirit on the other side is still struggling to process, what happened. So there's always exceptions, but generally they understand and they see why we did what we did that may have hurt them, and they accept that because again, they see the bigger picture of existence, of why we incarnated together, what we were trying to learn together, see where they made a misstep or we made a misstep, and all is forgiven. In time, all it truly is forgiven. But it depends. Like I said, some spirits on the other side, they need time. They might need a little more time to process. It depends on what transpired in their life. Okay. So you and I, though, if we're harboring resentment, we need to forgive them if we want to connect. I had to go through that when Alan returned to me. I didn't realize how much resentment I had. And if any of you've read our book, Soulmates in the Afterlife, a true story of life and love after death, you will remember that I wrote about yelling at Alan, literally yelling at him out loud in my house for 2 days. Like, "You're such a hole," like, on and on, just like and he was just, like, taking it, like, "Give it to me. Like, give it to me." And I just vented, I just screamed at him, I just yelled at him and got it all out, got it all you need to get it all out. You need to process your emotions. Do not hold that in. That's toxic. That's taking poison. So you wanna express that out. Don't worry, they can take it. Ask your angels to help you if you need them to and say, "Angels, please take my resentment and transmute it," whatever you got to do, go do it. Yell at them, curse at them. Again, they can take it. They're in a state of timeless love. They're fine. Don't ever worry about them. So let that out and you'll come out the end of it. Trust me, you will. It's like he's saying to me, it's like it's like when you have food poisoning and you got to vomit that out, right? Better out than in, because all that toxicity is only going to eat away at you, and it's going to weaken you, and certainly going to make it almost impossible for you to communicate with them. So you want it out, and once it all out, then you will start to open up a bit more. Okay, but you've got to find a way to do that. You also need to find a way to let go of any regret you have about what they did or you did or both of you did, what have you. Regrets keep you tied to the past and they exist in the ever present now. So when you go looking for them in the past, and I don't mean that you should forget the past, you just are not meant to live there in the memories of your past. And the challenge you face now, because they're no longer in a body, is you think that they only exist in your mind in the past when they exist right here. Like I'm literally mean right here. So if you're focused on the past, then you're not here now where they exist, and you're going to have a harder time connecting with them. Okay? They're going to have a harder time connecting with you because your memory just keeps going back to the past and remembering all that because you're looking for them. Your mind is searching for them because it doesn't see them here. I get it. They get it. But if you want connection, you have to begin to live more in the now, in the present moment, because this is all you have. Even right now, as I'm talking to you, think about something about them that happened in the past with them. And you'll notice that you'll notice if you don't notice it, don't worry about it. But you should notice that there feels like a shift, like it's not, and it may not even feel good. You think about the past and you might even feel sadder. Why? If you do feel sad, because they're not there. They're not there. They're right here. So you're like, I'm looking for you, babe. I'm not, I'm here. They're right here. So the challenge you have is they're right here. And if you want to hear them, you have to be focused here now. Okay. Now, they are the same as how you remember them, and yet they're also different. I know this sounds like a paradox, but truth is that because they have no ego, then that automatically raises your vibration because they're not identified with their personality anymore. They don't have their hangups, they don't have their issues, insecurities, all that's gone because that's a product of the ego structure. So that's gone. And they're still learning and growing on the other side. And they continue to love because they cannot not love us. And I want you to really hold on to that idea because some people think, oh, maybe they don't love me anymore. Maybe they've moved on. Like, no. Oh, once you love someone, you cannot not love them. Especially in the spirit world. Now, in the physical world, you could love somebody and realize they're toxic for you and you still love them. And you realize, okay, I've got to back away from this person because, being with them is damaging. That's different, but you're still going to love them. But you've made the choice to physically separate because you know that this is unhealthy. But you cannot really stop loving someone once you love them. And your nature as a soul is to love. So it would go against your very nature to stop loving. It's almost like saying, I think I will just not exist. You can't do that because the definition of existence is existence. There's no such thing as you either exist or you don't exist, and you clearly exist. So if they loved you then, they love you now, they'll love you forever. It has nothing to do with what you did or didn't do. Love is love, right? And I want to also clarify because some people fear that there's no marriage in the afterlife. There's no relationships, that everybody I get so annoyed when I see people post this on social media. "Oh, yeah, you cross over and you just become one with everything, and you're not married to your partner anymore. There's just love." And I go, "That sounds really boring. What, you're just floating around and you don't have a connection to anybody? You're just That is." Alice that laughs he's laughing right now. He's going, "That is the most bogus thing. You are still a being. There's so much more to who you are, and we don't want to get into that because that's going down a whole other rabbit hole, but you're certainly not this being that has no identity, that's just floating around. Like, that is not the case at all. So yes, there is marriage in the afterlife. And and I know some religions say that there isn't. Well, they're wrong. Other religions say there is. So you choose who you want to believe. But we're here to just tell you there's everything in the spirit world, including marriage, including whatever you want, you get. You're the God in your universe, in your reality, here and in the afterlife for sure. So you get to have what you want. Now, we wanna also emphasize that not everyone necessarily made a soul agreement to continue their relationship after death, okay? But even if you didn't, you can choose to do that, okay? You can choose to do that now. I've heard that many times, that there are things that people, even in a more ordinary day-to-day living, right, that people can quite often in their incarnation choose to do something they hadn't planned, because that's always built into your life plan that, "Oh, I could, if I want to, have another option." Why would you not? You're not locked in. There's no compulsion that you fulfill your life plan or that you have to only do the life plan. You can't add something else onto it. You can't. No, you're a soul that always has options. So you can still have this relationship through the veil, even if it wasn't part of your soul plan. And now, if you're not sure whether your partner agreed to that, they I would suggest, and I've said this before, that you explore this anyway, because if this could possibly be part of your soul's evolution, and that's really the bottom line of what this is all about. It's not just about reuniting with someone you love on the other side. It's about your soul's growth. Everything in your life is about your soul's growth. Anything else is just an added factor, okay? Your primary purpose for existence, for incarnation, is to grow as a soul, period. Full stop, okay? Whatever helps you grow as a soul, and everything can help you grow as a soul, actually, even something that's challenging. So Betty just asked, "My husband was married 3 times, was his 3rd. Was he be with me or a second wife who passed?" Okay, it will be what you both want. Remember, we have said, and well, we've said this maybe for some of you watching for the first time when have heard us say this, but we're multidimensional beings. So I don't want to, you know, freak your mind out, but you're a multidimensional, and there are many versions of you. There are versions of you with your husband where you are the first wife. There are, I'm just trying to say, you and he can have whatever you want. And don't even question whether he would want that, because he loved you, you love him. You two can have whatever you want. So don't even waste your time trying to worry about that. Just know that you can be with the one you love when that is a true love on a soul level. Okay, because not all relationships are on that the deepest soul level, right? Some you and I know that. There's always love, don't get me wrong, but there's some relationships where the soul love is so profound and pronounced, and these people keep incarnating over and over in those relationships. And the other ones, there's always love in the other relationships too, but it's not the same purpose. And only you can answer that question for yourself, right? Is my relationship with my especially a partner, is this a soul love relationship? Or is this just, was this just a more I don't want to lessen it by saying it's more superficial because love is love, but I think you folks know what I'm trying to say here, that there is the soulmate kind of love where there's this deep soul bond. And then all of us, I know you guys relate to this, have had relationships where you love the person, but there wasn't that depth that you felt with the one that you finally paired up with. Okay. That's how existence is. So just understand that. Don't worry about that. You you are in charge of your experience, your reality, so you're going to be able to have whatever you want. Oop, I'm trying to Oh, I don't know why I am having a little difficulty here with something. Hold on, guys. Okay. Oh, this is fun. All right. So we're having a little technical difficulties here, I'm afraid. So we're just going to have to I guess like carry on without it. Oh, maybe not. So let's see. Let's go to the next thing. So I want to talk a little bit more about the afterlife before we really dive into Clairaudience. So our loved ones exist in the fifth dimension. That's non-physical, right? So that means that you and I, our minds can visit there in the in between space. That's in dream time, meditation, daydream. That's why I want you to understand that when you think of them in your mind, you kind of see them or sense them some way, you are perceiving them. You must start believing that. Your ability to focus and believe is all you need to do this. You have to focus your mind because obviously if you're all distracted, you're not, going to be able to tune in. You can focus your mind and believe what you're experiencing, you're there. Understand that after death communication is easier during the first days, weeks, and months after they pass because they still have residual earth energy. I know we talked about that a little bit. Just want to emphasize that so you understand like why it kind of faded off. And now it's up to us to work on ourselves. Okay. And this relationship can become for you and I a spiritually transformative one. Why you should care about that is again, because your purpose for existence is to spiritually grow. And so these relationships through the veil, you could say, are the vehicle for your personal transformation to become all that you really are. And you have their relationship, to as your reward, so to speak. You are going to be able to reclaim that and live the life that you really want. But this takes work. And that's what we're here for, to work with you. So the more you believe and trust in your experience of the non-physical, the easier it actually becomes for them to help you. Why? Because your belief is like Alan showed me, it's like giving them energy. Like we believe, right? So our belief helps them come through. They need help coming through. When we don't believe, we're kind of shutting the door. So when we believe, like I believe I can connect with you, okay, it makes it easier because now we're open, we're receptive. And as we work on ourselves, we can meet them halfway. So let's finally, what is clairaudience? It's clear hearing. Remember, this psychic hearing is usually internal in your mind. It usually occurs there in your, let's say, voice, but it can also be outside of you, externally. I've heard spirits speak externally a couple of times, and and you have to discern who they are. We're gonna go into that in a minute. If you're not sure who it is that you hear, like you hear somebody like Alan wants me to tell you an example. One night I woke up in the middle of the night, this was long ago, and I'm walking through the bedroom, and our bedroom was dimly lit. I could see my way to the bathroom. I needed to go to the toilet. And I'm walking around the bed, and I hear this voice like on the height of the, like maybe about, I want to say 2 feet high, maybe less than that, maybe a little. I hear this voice at that level saying, "Turn on the light, turn on the li," and I thought, "What is that?" You know? And later I realized that that was an elemental, that was a spirit that just was concerned that I was gonna hit my knee on the bedpost or something, which sometimes I could do, and it just said, "Turn on the light, turn on the light." So that was external. It wasn't in my head. It was like this voice coming below me. And another time I heard, as I mentioned before, this voice saying, when I was about to get married for the first time, "You're making a mistake." External. Usually it's internal. Usually, if you're talking to your loved one on your side, it's probably going to be internal. Some people do hear them in their voice, but that is not common though. So, whoever you hear, if you're not sure, I want you to ask, "Who is this?" And trust the first thing that comes to you, the first name or word, right? The name it could say, in my case, it could say Alan, like my husband, or it could say grandma. You're like, "Oh, you're my grandma." Okay. And I would take that answer, put both hands on my heart, and say, "Okay, is that you, grandma? Is that really you, grandma? Is that you, really you, Alan?" This is if I'm not sure. "Is that really you, Alan?" And notice how you feel. Turn the question over to your soul, to your heart. Ask what it is. Okay. So you might feel warmth, you might feel tingling, you might feel lifting up of energy. Sometimes I do that, like an expansive feeling. Okay. Something that you would agree is positive, right? A positive sense. "Oh, I feel warmth. I feel good. I feel elation," whatever. Then you would know that that's them. So what do you do when you're not sure who they are? Like you're still not sure. And you're concerned, is this a trickster being? It's not demonic, okay, but there are some, yeah, trickster energies, trickster beings that just want to play with you, that just want to mess with you. They're not usually malevolent, they're not, unless you are, because everything is a reflection of you. Everything you're experiencing is an out picturing of your belief. So if you're that way, well, I don't know. I don't think anybody watching this is demonic, but if you've got some demonic things going on with you, yeah, okay, that could be a demon that you're experiencing. Or if you're really afraid of demons, you're going to manifest that too. So I would suggest that you don't go walking around saying, "I'm really afraid of demons. I'm really afraid of demons," because that's the very way you're going to invite them into your reality. You're opening the door. So don't do that. Real simple. Stop doing that. So what you would do instead is surround them with light, right? Just see them like infused with light and ask them the question, "Are you of the light?" Because they must tell you the truth. They must answer you honestly. They'll either say, "I am," or "I'm not." Okay. You can also notice the reaction to the light that you've put on them, because as soon as you surrounded them with that light, they might grow brighter or seem bigger, like somehow they expand. Or if they're not of the light, they might shrink, they might become dimmer, they might move away, right? You'll know when you see that, like, okay, something is off. You'll just know. And so whatever happens, you could ask again, "Who are you?" and trust the thing you hear, right? Or see or know. Because sometimes you could get a symbol instead of hearing I know we're talking about clairaudience, but it could come whatever way it comes. So I want you to be prepared. You might not get it audiently, right? You might all of a sudden see a symbol like something that represents your grandma or see her face even. Okay. So don't, whatever you do, don't shut it down. If you go, well, I'm not hearing a name, I'm seeing my grandma's face. She just communicated with you. But if we're talking about clairaudience, then yeah, you're going to trust the first thing you hear. And then if you're still not sure who it is you're engaging with here, then tell them to leave. Command them to leave. Like, get out of here. I don't have anything to do with you. Don't worry. If it really is your loved one or your guide or your grandmother, whoever, and it's important, they will initiate contact again. What's more important is that you feel comfortable, that you feel good, you feel safe, right? And you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're communicating with a being and you're still not sure. Like, I don't know. So if you have any doubt, just say, okay, good, leave. And I don't mean to say, ask them politely to leave. You don't have to be crude, but I've been known to kind of swear and go, get that, blank out of here. And boom, they're gone in a flash because I don't want to mess around. And I want them to know I mean business. And I'm claiming my boundary. And I suggest you do the same. If it's a trickster entity or being, you don't need to be polite. You don't have to be rude either, but you can certainly be you want to be in command. Okay. Also, Alan's saying to me, there's an energy that comes through when you say that, right? So if you have to swear, go ahead. You're not going to hurt their feelings. Do whatever feels right to you, but claim your power. That's what it's about. It's more about that you say it forcefully and you mean it. Claire says, yeah, get out. That's right. Just say, get out. Get the blank out. And they have to. I've seen that happen over and over. Just say, get out. They have to get out. All right. Now we're going to give you the attunement. I'm going to give you an attunement, and then I'm going to lead you through an invocation. Let me see, an invocation. Should we do that first? I'm asking Spirit. Okay, we're gonna do attunement, but let me give you the hold on a minute. We'll come back to this in a minute. This is the invocation. We'll come back to the tips and things after we do the attunement. So switching things up a little bit. So this is what Spirit told me to give you. So we're going to repeat this in a moment, but right now I just want to read that to you so you know what we're going to do. So the invocation goes like this. God and angels, please surround me with light and make my connection to the other side strong and clear. Help me release my fears and doubts so I can see, hear, feel, and know my loved ones and spirit helpers who love me. Help me embody my soul and claim my spiritual power now. Thank you. Okay, we're going to repeat that together in a bit. Well, let me just explain. I like you to use this for as long as you want to use this for whatever spiritual work you do, whether you're just trying to meditate to connect with the other side, or you're trying to, do some channeled writing, or you're just wanting to, practice your psychic awareness in whatever way you do. Use this because it will automatically put up like a bubble around you. I don't like to use the word protection because that always then, by me using that word, means that something has to attack you. But you're just, in my view, it's more about declaring that the space around you is divinely attuned to the other side, which is what's going to make it easier to connect. Okay. And you're asking God and your angels automatically that they're going to help you because you're asking them to surround you with this. So they're going to be there. And if they're there, there's nothing for you to worry about. All right. So I'm going to lead you through this. I'm going to do like a really brief attunement kind of meditation. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper with this. So just follow along with me. Close your eyes and say, you just listen to me. You don't have to read this like what's on the screen. Just listen to me and repeat as I say it with you. God and angels, please surround me with light and make my connection to the other side strong and clear. Help me release my fears and doubts so I can see, hear, feel, and know my loved ones and spirit helpers who love me. Help me embody my soul and claim my spiritual power now. Thank you. Now just keep your eyes closed and feel those words going into every cell of your body. Just notice whatever you notice. Every word, every thought manifests instantly. And when we think and say them together, whether in our mind, silently, or out loud, what we express has greater power. We're creating a field of energy around us, around the world, really, because we're scattered around the world, many different locations. And now imagine, see or feel at the top of your head, a golden light pouring down into your crown. The sparkling golden light is filling the top of your head. Going into your third eye at the center of your head, activating that chakra. That light is spinning, clearing, cleansing, opening it up as wide as is appropriate for you in this moment. And now the light moves down into your throat. And that light activates your throat chakra, which is connected to your clairaudience. And the energy is pulsing and swirling. It's cleaning out any debris that is blocking your clairaudience, activating your ability to express yourself as well. So feel, see, or imagine that energy swirling, cleansing, clearing, awakening. That energy is going to continue to move in that chakra through the rest of this exercise, whether you feel it or not. We are programming the energy, if you're in agreement. If you don't want it, just say no. Programming the energy to continue to clear, activate, cleanse that chakra with the intention of helping you not only with your self-expression, which is the throat chakra, but your clairaudience. Because some of you shut down your ability to hear spirit because you didn't want to hear. Maybe you didn't want to hear what God had to say. Maybe you didn't want to hear what the spirits around you were saying, because that's how profoundly psychic you were, maybe as a child. but now it's safe for you to hear, for you to express. So we're programming that energy to work through that chakra for as long as needed. And if ever you change your mind, all you need to do, put your hand on your throat chakra and say, I don't want this. But if you do want it, then receive. So as that energy continues to move through that chakra, we're going to move to the heart chakra, center of your chest. And that energy is opening, clearing, activating your heart chakra, opening it to the appropriate degree that's right for you in this moment. Cleansing out any denser emotions you've been hanging on to that you're ready to let go of. Let it all go now. And feel that energy just purging the darkness, purifying the denser, heavier emotions and feelings you've been harboring. You don't have to hang on to your grief to stay connected to your loved ones. They don't want us to grieve anymore. They want us to celebrate with them and love them in the light. And the grief creates a barrier. So let that grief be transmuted to joy if you're ready. If you're not, that's okay too. So just feel that energy working on your heart chakra. And it's going to continue to work and clear and cleanse. Once again, until no longer needed. Now the energy moves to your solar plexus, a little bit below your navel, power center. And this energy is clearing and cleansing your chakra. It's your will chakra as well. It's going to cleanse that out, balance it out. You might feel the energy move. You might not. It's okay, whatever you experience. And now let the energy move down to your sacral chakra. That's your sexual chakra, your creative chakra. It's not just about sex. It's about your creativity, your power to manifest, your power to create what you desire, power to manifest this relationship through the veil, if that's what you want. So this energy is clearing this chakra, opening it up to be appropriately open for this relationship through the veil, especially if you're connecting with a partner. You want that chakra open and cleansed and activated because you are still an energy being and will always be, just as they are. And now the energy moves to the root chakra at the base of your spine. This chakra connects you to the earth. It's important that this chakra be cleansed and cleared and balanced with all the other chakras. They're all going to balance with each other so that you are grounded in this reality that you're here to experience and that you feel safe, secure, protected. So I just want you to imagine, see, or feel now that all your chakras are lined up, that your clairaudience is open and activated at the highest level it has ever been before. Okay, and now you're still in this deep, relaxed state. I want you to decide who you want to communicate with. And whoever that is, as soon as you think of them or see them in your mind's eye, imagine them if you want to, know that they are there. And I want you to ask them a question. Just one question. And trust whatever you hear, since we're working on clairaudience. If you happen to see something or feel something, sense something in another way, that's fine. See if you can hear what they're saying to you. If you're not sure what you heard, then say, I don't know what you're saying. Could you say it louder, please? Spirit communication is interactive. It's not passive. You don't just sit there waiting for them to talk to you. Whatever you heard, whether you think you heard it, claim it, could be a word, could be a whole sentence, could be many sentences. Whatever you experience, hold on to that. And you can even, if you're not sure, say, did I hear you say this? And again, if you're not sure who you're talking to, ask them, who are you? So if they say, I'm your grandma, what are you going to say? You're going to say, all right, is that you, grandma? Is that really you? Hold their answer to your heart. What does that feel like? That's your truth. If you feel like you didn't get an answer to your question, let's get another question. Just one at a time, please. And if you didn't get an answer, don't worry. You're just getting started with this. Next time you try it, I want you to imagine that you hear them say something to you. That is not making it up. That is opening the door to saying, I'm willing to receive, and I'm co-creating this communication. Imagination is actually the only reality, because you cannot imagine something unless it actually exists. That's the definition of existence. If you can imagine it, it means it's real. If it wasn't real, you wouldn't be able to imagine it, because it would mean it doesn't exist. How can you imagine non-existence? Try. You can't. So if you can imagine them talking to you, you're helping them talk to you. And so you take that message in. If you're not even sure, I think you said this, whatever they said, hold it to your heart and feel if that resonates as truth. That this is what my husband Alan said. That's your answer. I just heard Spirit say to me, if you guys take what you're learning today and run with it, you're going to get damn good at this. They promise you. Again, you just have to get rid of your fears, doubts, and disbeliefs, and have no expectations. You're just open to whatever's going to happen. And even if nothing happens, you don't even let that bother you because you know there's always the next moment. There's always the next day. There's always the next week. Like, who cares? I know I can get this down. Does anybody master something the first time? I don't think so. Even if they end up being a master artist, master painter, a master pianist, whatever, they don't nail it the first time, the first week, the first month, maybe not even for years. What makes someone a genius at something is that they persist. That's all it is. Genius is just focus, being focused, like, I want to do this. While there will always be exceptions, this is what Spirit's saying. I'm just going to channel what they're saying. There will always be exceptions. But when you persist with something, you will master it. It cannot be any other way because you're marshaling all of your forces, all of your creative forces, when you just stay with something and you know that this is for your highest good. You cannot fail. The genius is basically kind of being obsessive in a positive way. So right now, take a breath in, wherever you are in your experience. Take a breath in and exhale. I want you to bring yourself back into your sense of psychic hearing, clairaudience. And really pay attention to what you hear from the other side. It may not be words. It may be like a hum. Maybe some other sound. Ask your loved ones or your guides or your angels to turn up the volume. And now ask another question and trust the first thing that comes. And again, if you're not sure what they said, ask for clarification. Did you mean this? Is this really what you said? Take that answer into your heart as you hold your hands on your heart. Let the answer sink in and feel the resonance of that. And in time, you will know when you interact with a loved one on the other side or a guide or angel. You'll know that that's them. You just feel it in your being. Everything we do with you is to bring you more in touch with your soul, who you really are, who you will eternally be. And this has to be an incremental journey because the physical body is dense, clearly. And so it takes time to integrate these spiritual changes because the body is so dense. And it can't change as quickly as you and I can change emotionally or spiritually. And so we need to go a bit slow and steady. If you put your foot on the gas pedal and go, you could completely distort yourself and open up so powerfully that you cannot function. And we don't want that for you. I went through that. You don't want that for you. There's no need for that. Now, of course, you can repeat this exercise, and we encourage you to do so tonight, maybe every night, so as often as you want to. But for now, we want to bring you back and ground you. I want you to take a breath in and set the intention to integrate everything that you experienced, all the healing, the balancing, the activation, the cleansing, everything experienced, integrate it into your physical body. Just feel that intention, that integration occurring now. And take another breath in. And on the exhale, send down roots through the bottoms of your feet into Mother Earth to anchor you and ground you to the planet. Feel yourself connected to the earth. And any residual emotions, negativity, energies that don't belong to you, old patterns, beliefs that you're ready to let go of, release them to your angels. Ask your angels to take them and transmute them. They can do that. And now I'm seeing Archangel Michael come in. He says he wants to support you to understand that you're always protected. If you ever are in doubt of that, if you're ever in need of support in that way, you feel like you need protection, then call on Michael. You just have to think his name and he's there. Alan works closely with Archangel Michael. You can call on Alan too, or instead of if you want to. It doesn't really matter to Archangel Michael or to Alan or whoever, but call on them to support you. Let them be your backup. And I'm hearing Michael say, today you've taken a big step in your evolution to hear the other side. Now, he was joking with me. He always used to joke with me and Alan. He says, now don't blame us for what you might start hearing. Don't blame us for what you might hear us say to you. It'll always be loving, don't get me wrong. He's just teasing. But know that if anything ever scares you on your journey, that he and Alan are there, and you have guardian angels too. So call on your angels, call on Archangel Michael. Don't just worry and fret, on your own. Alan's saying, call in the big guns, all the archangels. In fact, let's call them in now. I don't know why they're telling me this. So I know I just grounded you, and I'm about to unground you again, but they seem to want to come in. Oh, well, okay, they're throwing me off here. They want to come in. So close your eyes again. They're taking me off on a tangent here. I want you to close your eyes. Through the power of your intention, I want you to open your awareness, expand your awareness, because the archangels want to come in. And as they come in, they surround us all. There are more than the 12 or so archangels that you and I know of. They are a legion of archangels. And many of them work with you. And some of you know that, some of you don't. But they're here now. And they are wanting you to know and feel their love and support for you, and to remind you that many of you have a connection to the angelic realm. Okay, because I know there are teachers out there who say angels have never been in a body, but that's not true. That's just their belief system. Because you and I are expressions of God's source. You and I have been everything. We've been a rock, we've been an archangel, we've been everything. Because you're God. Everything's God. And God is everything, right? That is the only thing that makes sense to me. Not that there's a hierarchy and, that these are these beings and these are that and none of it connects. Like, no, you're everything. So the archangels are coming in to remind you. They're igniting your memory of you as a soul. If you're ready for that, some of you are, some of you aren't, some of you are on the fence. That's okay. But those who are ready, they're saying, hold your hands over your heart, put your hands on your heart, feel into this statement as I say it to you now. I am connected to the angelic realm. That some of you will resonate with. Now, this one, most of you should also resonate with, okay, as I say it. So take a breath in. The angelic realm works through and with me. And they always do. So I want you to feel into that. And when and if you ever doubt your experience, you struggle with life, you question whether you can connect with your loved one on the other side, whether this is really for you, call in your angels. We will work more with the angelic realm in our academy, which you're always welcome to join. We'll talk more about that as this masterclass continues. But it's going to become increasingly important that you and I open up to the angels and allow them to support us and guide us. Not, of course, our loved ones on the other side too, okay? But in addition, and that's why in our academy, we're going to go deeper into channeling angels, communicating the angels. All that's going to help refine our connection to all of our loved ones on their side. But know that some of you are incarnated angels. And if you are, for those of us who are, that's why life can sometimes be challenging, not always easy. Okay. So you can ask for support. So now we'll let the archangels to kind of back up a little bit. They're saying, okay. They're saying, those of you who are curious, read up on them, connect with any archangel that you feel resonance with. Some people feel drawn to Michael. A lot of people feel drawn to Archangel Michael. Others might feel drawn to Archangel Raphael, who is about healing. Whoever you feel drawn to, connect with them and learn. You don't have to connect with all of them. Whoever you feel drawn to, go and look them up. Go and connect with them. Go and, I don't know why Alan's telling me to go. If you are somebody who's into AI, go on ChatGPT and look it up, right? Tell me about Archangel Michael. I don't know. I think Alan's half serious about that. Just know that the angelic realm is connected to all of us right now. So call on them if you need to. So now let's ground again. Send down roots through the palms of your feet, just using the power of your intention. Send those roots down, see them going, those roots going down into the floor, down through the ground, down to the center of the earth, anchoring to the earth, drawing up that earth energy into your body to ground you. Okay, so those roots go down, they anchor to the planet. You're pulling up this beautiful earth energy, filling your body with that earth energy from the bottoms of your feet to the top of your head, letting that earth energy swirl around. And again, using the power of your intention, reach out to the cosmos and pull in some cosmic energy that's perfect for you right now to run in your system. Bring that energy down into your top of your head, filling your body from your crown, through your head, your neck, your chest, your stomach, out your arms, your hands, down your thighs, your legs. Okay, so that the cosmic energy and the earth energy are intermingled and they're circulating and they're combining and swirling, generating a particular energy mixture that's perfect for you in this moment in time. You can do this every day if you like. Because every day, well, actually, every moment, you're changing, you're different, and your needs will be different. And this doesn't have to take long. You can ground, pull up the earth energy, reach out, pull down the cosmic energy, blend the two, feel all your chakras balanced. I believe in keeping it simple and you just intending that all your chakras are balanced and aligned, like done. If you feel like you need more, that's fine too. But I didn't even know what chakras were when somebody told me, a friend told me, 'cause she was very psychic, that somebody was sucking on all of my chakras, this man that I had met. I didn't even know what they were. And immediately my chakras just closed down. I could feel it. I said, I don't want that. And my intention was the only thing that was required to disconnect him. That's the power of intention. Well, I don't want that. I don't want to be connected to that. Or I want my chakras to be aligned and balanced. As long as I'm not in fear, I don't disbelieve, right? Like, okay, it's done. That is the power that you have, that we all have. So claim that. So now you're grounded, balanced, right? And let's go back here. So now let's review kind of what we did. We're going backwards a little bit. And we're going to just review this and then we'll close out soon. So going forward, set your intention before connecting with the spirit world. I mean, we really didn't leave you with that, but in the future, we're doing this on your own. So you could say, your intention is today's meditation will bring me closer to my loved one. That'd be a great one. So you're not saying what you're going to experience, right? You're just saying, my intention is this meditation is going to bring me closer. Or maybe it's going to further develop my clairaudience in this example. And then if it's working on anything, you want to ask only one question at a time. Don't ask them a whole bunch of questions. And again, ask them to speak louder if you can't hear them. Don't be passive. They are learning just like you are. So they could be projecting their answer and they don't know that it's not landing. They don't know that you're not hearing it. So you might say, could you say that again? Or could you rephrase that? Or are you saying this to me? Do I hear you clearly? Ask them to speak louder. Ask them to come in more clearly. Write down your impressions or messages, or you record them on your phone if you want to. Find some way to keep a record of the communication. This is important. It's important because you and I live in the physical world, and therefore you and I must take action. Okay? You're here to take action. You're not here to just have this dialogue only be internal. Yes, a lot of it can be internal, like in your mind. But especially when you're beginning with spirit communication and you're not there yet with your telepathy, which you can eventually develop, in the beginning, if it's all internal, you're going to forget what they said to you because their vibration is really high. You're rising up, right, to meet them halfway so you can hear. So whether you realize it or not, you're in a somewhat trance state when you're communicating mentally. And you're not going to remember everything that they said. There were so many times when Alan told me, no, I want you to write this down or you're going to forget. no, write this down, you're not going to remember it. Other times, if it's more conversation things that really are not that significant, that's a different story. But when you are beginning this journey, in the beginning, it's all going to be pretty significant. And I would suggest you chronicle your journey. I suggest you go out and buy some beautiful journal if you're a person that wants to write by hand, okay, and you love doing that, then get this special journal and even put a title on it. Like, why wouldn't you do that if this is your communications with your family member or spouse or partner or whoever? Why wouldn't you want to make it manifest in some form that's of meaning to you? Why not honor them? Doesn't that make sense? Now, if you're like me, and I feel sorry for you if you're like me because my handwriting is really terrible. Literally, it changes from day to day. I mean, I think Alan says I'm from another planet. I probably am from another planet. So my handwriting, I can hardly read my handwriting. So I have an online journal and I will write in there. Okay. But in some way, I suggest that you write their messages because you make them real in the physical world when you do this. We always tell our students this. And what I've seen is the people who channel or write the messages they get from their loved ones develop a stronger flowing connection and communication. Okay, that's what I did. That's why I wrote the book that we wrote. That's why we suggest that our students write their own book. And it could be a journal. Write your own story. And you can do it online. Like I said, it can be an online journal. There's some free ones out there that you can get. You can just Google it, free online journals. You don't have to pay a penny, and you can just write in there. So we taught you how to do it. Ask the question, right? Wait for the answer. If you're not sure what you heard, ask for clarification, all that. Practice. Practice. So that's what we have for you today. Next time, we're going to talk about clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is more than seeing. It can be everything. That's one definition of it's really all of your psychic senses in that way. But we're going to talk about clairvoyance. We're going to explain why you already are clairvoyant. You're just not realizing it. Your loved one is already sending you visions. They're all telling me they are. You're just not realizing it. You think you're making it up. You're getting flashes of things and you think, oh, that's just me. And it's not you. I'm not saying it's always let's say your partner, if you're trying to connect with a partner, because it could be your mother on the other side if she's on the other side. But it's not pretty much not going to be you because your physical mind doesn't do that. At least that's not what spirit tells me. You'd have to consciously search your mind and for that memory to remember something, right? And then it'll be in your mind's eye because you retrieved it. But you can learn to notice how you're clairvoyant. And as you do that, your clairvoyance will develop. And we're going to teach you some really simple techniques to develop clairvoyance. And we're going to pass a clairvoyant attunement. So if you're watching this video later and all the class series is done, just go look for the day 3 or part 3 version of this masterclass, and you'll see what we're talking about here. Okay. So have fun with that. Write down your messages. Practice, practice, practice. Practice is what leads to success and connection. That's all. That's the only difference. And I think you guys know that, right? Like in anything in life, like to get good, you got to practice. You don't just like Snap your fingers and done. Alice says, well, you do, but that's in the spirit world. They go, I'm a master artist. Done. Because they can make a masterpiece just because they decide to, right? Here, you came to have the experience. The gradual unfolding is what you came here to experience. I know many of you wish it wasn't this way. Like, why can't it be that? But you came here because you want to draw it out a bit. Say, I want to see and experience the unfolding. So once we start to understand that this is deliberate, not like somebody tricked us and like, why do we have to go through this? And we're rebelling like, like teenagers that are fighting against their parents. Like, why do I have to do this, mom and dad? This is really annoying. No, it's for our benefit. It's what we wanted to experience because on the other side, it's too instantaneous. And so we come here to kind of experience the gradual unfolding. So I want you to reframe this and see that the magic in this, that you get to kind of tweak it and go, well, maybe I didn't quite want it to be that way. Let's change it a little bit. It can actually become fun. Maybe not doesn't feel like fun right now. I get it if you're grieving, but spiritually, this is what we all planned, and it can be beautiful. So let's embrace it and make the most of it because we're here anyway, right? We can either go with it or we can resist it. I promise you, going with it's going to be more fun and it'll actually be exhilarating. So we'll see you next time. Take care till then, right? Keep practicing and know you can do this. If one person can do something, anybody can do it. It just takes practice. That's it. That's it.